1580 a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. And I thank you, thank you.
Up in the Escalade, saw the W gate to the valet, knew that it was game when you looked at me, pulling up your sleeve so I could see the roly blade. So you later in the corner booth, raising up a toast so I would notice you, but you're hard to miss, think you ought to know, doesn't matter if you're balling out of control.
Happy Thursday, welcome in. You were locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. And you are here for your entertainment news update, all the headlines, all the topics, everything that is keeping your group chat buzzing, keeping your timeline on fire, and me, of course. So, first off, we got to give shout outs. Big birthday blessings to the icon that is J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez. From fly girl to international star, singer, don't say nothing, actress. Her romantic comedies are everything. And listen, this as the first single was out of here. It was crazy. Of course, she played off of the breakup of her and Puff at the time. And then here we are all these years later with all the drama. And J-Lo managed to get by all of that unscathed, relatively speaking, if you think about it. People were trying to attach her and drag her into it, but she held strong. So happy birthday to J-Lo. You know, your Leos are coming in tough, right? In the building. So listen, tonight we have a lot to talk about. First up, right? We're giving felonies, we're giving fantasies, we're giving 5-star scandal waiting to happen. That's what's on deck. So there is a new dating app called the T app, and it is allowing women to rate their exes, sort of like Yelp reviews. And it's getting a lot of attention, a lot of traction. It's currently #1 in the Apple App Store. So we'll get into the details of that and why some are really upset at this and feel like it's a violation of men's rights. So we're going to talk about that. We are also going to get into rapper GloRilla. Her name is back in the headlines. This time it is attached to some alleged drug charges, but there's a twist to this story, and we're going to get into those details. And then, you know, Nick Cannon has a new YouTube talk show. It is, well, I should say podcast. Podcast, really. He has a lot. You know, Nick has always had like 35 jobs. He multitasks because he is multi-talented. And he has a new night. It's billed like a late night talk show, but that's weird for me because it's on YouTube and you can watch it anytime. But I suppose. At any rate, he and Raven-Symoné had a conversation about the boundaries that come with fantasies and fantasizing while within the context of a relationship. So we'll get into that because we know that you love a good relationship topic. And we are joined once again by community activist, podcaster, producer Yolanda Davidson. She's in the house. So we're going to chat with her on these trending topics. And once again tonight, because I come bearing gifts, it's the summertime, y'all, I have tickets for an advanced screening of The Naked Gun 2 for you guys too. So not now, but later. Not now, but later. We'll be giving those away. So plug in, sit tight, and don't even think about, hitting refresh or anything until I tell you what's going on tonight. Okay, first up, I like to start the night with a couple of conversation starters, right? This is in some good wholesome news. Brandy, it is announced, is currently filming or getting ready to film a new film, getting ready to film, slow down, a new Lifetime film called Christmas Every Day. And in it, she'll be starring with her daughter, Sy'Rai, and the legendary Debbie Morgan. Sy'Rai will be playing her on-screen sister. The film premieres this holiday as the anchor for Lifetime's It's a Wonderful Lifetime slate. And there's love, drama, and a rugged contractor love interest. So we can't wait to see it. I love seeing, family come together on screen and perform and, opening that door. So I think it'll be super cute. Congrats to them. So look. When we come forward, we're going to get all into this T app and whether or not we think it's Yelp for men. And is it fair? We're going to talk about all of that and more on the other side. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Y'all ready for Gillette's best shave? Try Gillette Labs with 5 ultra-thin blades, a built-in exfoliating bar, a precision trimmer on the back for sharp lineups. Gillette Labs delivers that smooth shave. Plus, and check this out, with 1 refill, you'll get up to 30 shaves. And on average, the blades last 50% longer than Gillette Fusion. Got something special coming up and you gotta look good? Check out Gillette Labs, the best a man can get. Gillette Labs also available in heated.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Some things can steal your sunshine.
Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
All right, welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. As mentioned, I am not alone tonight to break down these headlines. I am joined by Inglewood community activist, podcaster, producer, and so much more, Yolanda Davidson at The Bias Opinion on Instagram. So you know that means that she has a lot to include into the conversation this evening. How are you, Yolanda?
I am doing really well.
You ready to get into these headlines and trending topics?
I am. I'm interested about this app. I want to hear more about the app.
So let's start off. It's the T app, right? And so the creator says, his name is Scott Cook. There was a rumor that 2 black women created it. That is false. It's a white man, although it has gained popularity with us. But he created the app because his mother, he said, went through some situations via online dating. And so he wanted to create an app to keep women safe. It is a women's only app, right? And it is similar to, remember there was that website a few years back, or maybe it was a Facebook page, Girl Don't Date 'Em,
yes,
or Don't Date 'Em Girl, something like that. So basically you're allowed to leave anonymous reviews on the men that they've dated. You can drop red flags, warnings, and girl-to-girl heads-ups, basically, right? Run background checks. Use phone number lookup, so reverse phone number lookup to see if, you know, the number is attached to the name and maybe he's on a family plan. I don't know. And you can upload a photo of a guy and see what tea comes back from women in the same city. So, I mean, basically the tagline might as well be sis, protect yourself before you invest. But there are some men's groups actually that are saying that this is a violation. Remember, there are no men allowed on the app. No ratings for men, obviously. And some feel that it's a genius safety tool. Others say it's digital defamation under the guise of safety. The app already has 200,000 downloads. And as mentioned, it is, I think it was number 1 or maybe number 2 recently in Apple's social charts. So, I mean, we Google restaurants, right? We check out hairstylists. We put people on blast now. That is part of modern social media. But is it fair? Because we don't fully know the context and we don't necessarily need to. But is this something, one, you would utilize either as a seeker of information or a provider of information? And 2, do you think that it is line stepping?
I would absolutely not use it. Yelp has a way for restaurants, mechanics, whoever you're reporting, they have a way that they can also respond.
Right.
So without a response, without a way to have a rebuttal, to say, hey, you know, that's not true, or that's not exactly true, or at least say their part, I just don't think that it's fair for the person that you're talking about. And I'm just not that pressed. If you're that pressed to make a review about a guy you dated, you're just giving him too much energy. If it didn't work out, it didn't work out. And if you happen to run across a girl who met him and you said, oh, hey, yeah, I knew him. He, you know, he's not a cool guy, or he did me dirty, or whatever you want to say, that's cool. But an app, to take the time to download the app, to put all your information in, then share your story, it just comes off a little thirsty to me. But hey.
I agree, but we're in an era where there have been, for example, that popular podcast turned series Dirty John about the guy that swindled the woman in, I think it was Orange County. There's also the other, I think it was Netflix, there was a documentary about the guy who romanced all the different women from the app and took a lot of coins from them. Some of them ended up bankrupt. So if there would have been a way for them to perhaps connect the dots, maybe they would have known sooner. I do feel like it is a lot of effort, and sometimes we don't really know the context. Even when someone is sharing the story, their version of it, if I say, He was mean to me. He never paid any attention to me. He locked me in the house. But if he was like, hey, I'm going to be with the guys and I get mad and go lock myself in the room, did he, it's just like you got to kind of hear both stories out.
I definitely think it needs a component of a rebuttal, even if it's just a one line. I mean, to just say it's for women only and no men can be on it, I just think it's a place to bash men. And we have enough sex bashing between the men and the women. I just don't think it can be productive.
As it is, but it's climbing in the App Store, and I'm wondering when, because as I frequently like to mention, we are a litigious society, someone is going to gear up to try and take a suit against, said app or said individuals on the app. There was a rumor that was going around, completely false, by the way, over the weekend, claiming that a man who was featured on the app was murdering women in Detroit. It's false. But those are the type of conversations that are coming up around it. Now, we know sensationalism rules the day and people do a lot for attention. But could that somewhere in the future be something that we could potentially see if people are upset at how they are being portrayed on this app?
Maybe. It reminds me of the lady who was like, I dated what was the lady she was saying? I dated somebody and it was like 17 parts and she just kept telling the story. She was on a rant. It was like last year.
She has a TV film deal and a book deal. She's working on the book right now.
Yes.
And
I forgot what it was called, but I would like to hear the guy's part of the story.
He did come out and put his version of events out.
He did? Oh, I never saw it.
He did. Fahima says, if my ex isn't on the app as well, it's just me posting TMI about someone that people on the app really don't know. And again, it's a waste of time, just like your guest said. TMI about someone people don't even know. Forrest Harrison says, negativity sells these days. And Maurice Geis says, it's a messy one-way street.
Yeah.
Well, it's moving.
But hey, 200,000 downloads. It's going to be 1 million stories about, and you know what's going to be funny though? There's going to be certain people that have multiple posts because they're going to
absolutely
keep getting, because whoever is not a good dater, they're
going to continue to not be a good dater.
Yeah, that's right. It's a serial situation.
Okay, so moving on.
One question.
Yes.
Can I just give out a little dating advice?
Sure.
Ladies, do not lead with your purse with a man. Keep your purse closed.
Now, why would that be the thing that you're saying? And who is that for?
Because we were just talking about the swindling. Yeah. And do not go inside your purse. That's just not a thing you do.
Well, okay, so no, and I'm not by far that wouldn't be one. But here's the thing. In the course of this wooing, right, what happened with a lot of these women is he spent on them first. He was doing all of these things, treating them really nicely. And then something came up where he needed a quick borrow or loan situation. I think maybe one time he did it, gave it right back, classic hustle. And then something came up, either investment opportunity, help, or whatever. And then that's when they went in big. And then that's when the other things happen. So I don't know. I mean, that's not necessarily leading with your purse. That is reacting to, but see, then that gets into, I think again, not defending this, but I think that gets into what people, men and women say. So people are like, okay, men, if a woman says, if I'm in trouble, if I need help, you should be able to help me. You should help me. If I need the light bill paid this month, and you've been receiving benefits, you should be able to give me the money for the light bill. On the other end, the men are saying, well, if I need a little stretch in comparison, a little assistance, you should be able to help me because I show up for you, and that's our partnership. and we say no, right? Yolanda, you're looking like blink, blink, blank stare. I'm a hostage in this situation. I need to be released from the shackles of this conversation. It's not computing to me. But this is what the men are saying. Why can't, if you expect me to always be there and always assist when you need it, if there comes a time when I need assistance, why is it a problem?
Well, that's if you're in a relationship and that's your man.
But these women, they were in a relationship.
It's a different situation. Like, you know, hustlers, guys that hustle women, it's a hustle, and it's not just one person. So there's signs that they're not really your man. And I'll just leave it right there. Because I know you got other things you want to talk about. That's a good conversation. Though. Talk about
Andy would like you to please continue and expound on your thoughts. So please, you have the floor.
You know, I don't know. We want to live in a world, in a society of there's not male roles and there's not female roles, but unfortunately there just is. And for me, I can only speak for myself. I'll speak for myself. For me, my husband's role is to protect me and provide for me. And my role in his life is to take care of him. I take care of everything that he needs. That's just our roles. But that's my husband.
That's what Keisha Kayor said.
Even before, and we should have talked about that. I don't know if you already talked about it.
We talked about it last night, but you can share your thoughts on that.
I mean, she has it, so she's okay with it. You know, she said, Gucci don't have to do nothing, right?
Right.
All he got to do is get up and brush his teeth.
Brush his teeth and take a shower.
And she's
very important hygiene.
And she has it. You know, but he did leave her with a bag before he went to prison, correct?
And she
grew the bag
9 times.
She grew the bag. So obviously she knows know what to do with money, and they're married. That's her husband. So I'm cool with that. But just somebody you dating, you know, no. I feel like there's things that I'm gonna do, and there's things that my man is gonna do, and no, I'm sorry.
Maurice Guy says that you are right, Yolanda. They do lead with their money, their pocketbook. So please explain to me what you mean by these women lead with their pocketbooks.
There's women who they're always talking about what they could do. They could help you start a business. They can fix your credit. They could take you on a dinner date. They could buy you a watch or a chain. They want to reel you in with that. It's the same kind of thing, but they're trying to reel you. My daughter says it's called love bombing. They want to make you be in a more serious situationship with them using money. But I just don't think for the manly man that's going to work. Now, maybe for the new generation of guys that I hear about, the 50-50 guys, and, you know, I could do it for you, you could do it for me kind of guys, I guess it's okay, but not the man that I knew.
So I'm asking, is there ever an occasion in a dating scenario, let's say a woman and man have been dating a year or two, and he's like, babe, I need $2,000 for X, and she has it.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
Yes, absolutely. That's your man. Y'all serious. You live together. You're in a real relationship. You know, you're accountable to each other. He's gainfully employed. You know he could pay you back. Yeah, but the guy who's a construction guy or a producer or
it depends on his
a
job.
Cryptocurrency dude. I mean,
Whoa.
Look at Andy. Look at Andy.
What's wrong with them careers? You over sound like what's your name?
They're not stable. They're up and down. I mean, if you're a day trader, the day trade might go good today, then maybe not so much tomorrow. A plus, there's nothing wrong with it, but I can't give you my money. I worked for it. Took me 80 hours to make this $2,000. I'm just saying.
The woman that you talking about, it sounds like a sugar mama.
I mean, hey, in the words of Jermaine Dupri, it ain't tricking if you got it. So if you're not, but don't come back crying to me later saying that he played you. That's my thing.
I mean, I agree with that. You know, it sounds like she is just expounding the benefits of being with her. It's a competitive world out here. You need to have an edge in any way that you can, I suppose. Okay, so listen. Nick Cannon and Raven-Symoné. I mentioned that Nick has this new late night YouTube talk show, The Daily Cannon, right? And there is a clip that is circulating around that, it's causing a little, since we're talking about relationship stuff. I know Zoe Williams is coming up in a little bit, but we're dropping into that little tank a little bit.
Hey, Zoe.
So Raven and Nick were having a conversation about fantasizing while you're in a relationship. Specifically, while you are being intimate with your partner, right? So when we come forward, we're going to get into the details of Nick and Raven's conversation, the exact question that was posed, and what are your thoughts on fantasies in the course of a relationship? Is it ever okay? Does your mind wander sometimes? Maybe not when you're intimate, but just in other cases. Is that a problem? Is that considered infidelity? We're going to talk about all of that and more when we come forward. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. News, traffic, and sports is up next.
Even if you were broke, my love don't cost a thing. I'm free. Yeah. You think the money that you make substitute the time you take. Ease into my heart, then you can win my heart and know what's in my heart. The thing you need to take some time to show me that your love is true. There's more than dollar signs in you, then you can win my heart and get what's in my heart. Think you gotta keep me as you know.
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. The White House claims former President Obama tried to sabotage current President Trump after the 2016 election. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says newly declassified documents support the claim and show there was no Trump-Russia collusion.
The Obama administration manufactured politicized intelligence, which was later used as the justification for baseless smears against President Trump.
Obama's office called the accusations outrageous and a weak attempt at distraction. Rapper GloRilla is facing felony drug charges after police found a large amount of marijuana in her Atlanta area home while responding to a burglary. She was later released on a $22,000 bond. And several people were briefly detained during a Wednesday night protest for Jabari Peoples, the 18-year-old fatally shot by police in Homewood, Alabama. Led by Black Lives Matter, demonstrators demanded release of body cam footage. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Slowing in Calabasas, South 101, leaving Las Virgenes. You're on the brakes and stretches to the 170-134 split. Couple of pockets of crowded conditions through the Cahuenga Pass. More delays in Hollywood from Sunset into downtown Los Angeles. Tough on the 5. This is southbound out of Griffith Park, leaving Colorado. And the drive gets extra slow into Commerce from the 710. Looking a lot better by the time you make your way to Lakewood Boulevard and the 60 eastbound, all messed up. You're on the brakes out of Industry from 7th all the way to Brea Canyon Road, where a crash has been blocking the 3 right lanes.
Compassion sponsorship means food, healthcare, education, and more for a child in poverty. And there are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A very important stretch of the season is coming up for the Dodgers. After losing 11 of their last 15 games, the Dodgers start a 9-game road trip tomorrow in Boston. In spite of the recent slump, the Dodgers are one of 6 teams with at least 60 wins. They lead San Diego by 4.5 in the NL West. Clippers guard Bradley Beal is giving up his number 3 jersey to veteran point guard Chris Paul, who signed with the Clippers last week. Paul has worn number 3 during his entire 20-year career in the NBA. Beal, a 13-year veteran, wore number 3 when he played for Washington and Phoenix. The 40-year-old Paul has indicated he plans to retire after the season. At age 39 last season, Paul started all 82 games with San Antonio. Paul has started 97% of the games he's played in with 7 teams, including New Orleans, the Clippers, Houston, OKC, Golden State, and Phoenix. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. Thank you, thank you.
Let K. Michelle's Kitchen Catering bring your world of flavors to your next event. For all occasions, from casual brunches to office lunches, weddings, and glamour affairs, call us today at 310-819-6213 or go to kmichellekitchencatering.com or on Instagram at kmichelles_kitchen catering or Facebook at K. Kitchen Catering. We look forward to cooking for you soon. Call 310-819-6213. 310-819-6213.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yo, put the kids to bed.
We today, when you can track myself the party.
Yo, the freaks come out at night. I'm like Houdini with the magic stick. When you turn out the lights, shorty gripping my stomach tighter when I burn out on the bike. Holla at the young thugs, what we doing tonight? I'm in the OJ throwback jersey, dressed to kill. Bridget won't get it, but Vanessa will. Vanessa's real, shorty got sex appeal. You can hear the beat banging from the exit still. High Papa, we need something for these chicks to dance to. Look, mom, I'm trying to grind, I ain't trying to romance you. I'm just trying to get them pants loose. Let's get private, two-way, text me, T-Mobile, sidekick. One-on-one, let's talk and neglect the gossip. I'm as real as they come, baby girl, I got this. My wrist all numb, you can watch the watch glitz. She already bubbly, we ain't gotta pop Chris.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580 with your entertainment news update. Andy's always on theme, so we are getting into Nick Cannon. We ain't gonna say nothing. I know who that is. I'm joking. Is that R. Kelly on there? Okay. That's B2K and him. I know, but no, that was a Trackmasters produced thing, right?
But Nick Cannon did work with R. Kelly on a couple songs on this album.
Okay. That's what I thought. I was like, I'm not. Okay. All right. Well, Nick Cannon, he of many jobs and many children.
Many children.
Many. On his latest job, a new podcast, Nick had Raven-Symoné on as a guest, and they were discussing what is and is not okay as far as fantasies while you're intimate, or even just in general. Is that considered out of bounds? Do you discuss those type of things, or is that something you just keep to yourself? How does that work? Let's listen to what they had to say in the conversation, and then we'll talk about it.
Line they're talking about. Is it wrong that I fantasize about someone else during sex with my partner, but I still love them? If you're really into that person at the moment, there's nothing else in the world but them. They're bringing you to the sexual height. It's so amazing as a man, like when you're falling for a woman and that first time that you get to be with them, that honeymoon stage, like you can't even control your man. Like you trying to think about other stuff. You gotta think about baseball. You gotta think about because you're so into her.
Yeah.
But then once you realize oh my goodness, this is my woman. This is it. You start to again, going back to what we were talking about, you get used to it.
Yes.
So therefore now.
Though, I would like to know who she's thinking about when she's with her partner, because you are nosy. But not just for that. Let's say, for instance, her partner is somebody that looks nothing like the person that she's thinking of.
Right.
Is it wrong for her to be like, baby, I need you to put on a wig and
role playing?
I need you to put something up there. Then maybe that will help you, and you not have to think about it. And you just
So you said need. I need you to.
Oh, that's wrong.
Well,
it's just not right.
It doesn't open. I like that. It's not right. It doesn't leave the door open for I don't know how I feel about that. The only right answer is okay, and that's just coercive, right? But if you say, hey, I read about something, I want to try this. What do you think? I know it might be a little different, but we can try something different. And I role playing. It's a part of the whole thing that I have online.
So we heard a little bit about role playing when we were going through the Diddy trial. So there's a couple of layers in this. There is fantasizing while you're intimate. There is trying to switch it up so that there isn't redundancy, I suppose, in the relationship. But just as a whole, do you think that it is out of bounds if maybe on occasion someone's mind wanders elsewhere while they're in the moment? What's wrong?
It's just kind of bizarre to me. It's a bizarre thought to think what somebody else is thinking while you're being intimate with them. I can't go that deep into your personal space. I don't think I care.
Because you would never
I
know,
would never
right?
know.
You're not going to ask, baby, were you thinking about me?
Yeah, we're together. You're here. But now, if you're Nick Cannon and you got 13 kids and 4 baby mamas, you could probably act on your fantasy. But if you can't act on your fantasy, then I guess it's not as important.
So what do you mean? Do you mean depending upon who they're fantasizing about?
Nick Cannon could probably almost get in contact with any woman that he's fantasizing about. He could maybe turn that into. He has a very high probability that he could make his fantasy come to a reality. Whereas John the plumber maybe could not.
So here's the thing. So maybe
date J-Lo on her birthday.
Right.
Nick Cannon could send her some flowers and be like, hey, what's good?
So here's the thing. Maybe Joe the plumber, you said John the plumber. John the plumber couldn't date J-Lo on her birthday, but Suzette that works at the mini mart kind of look like J-Lo, and when she get dressed up, she might be close.
I guess I just think of fantasies as somebody that's not attainable.
You think of somebody like that is a celebrity star or a public figure.
Or a public figure, or just somebody that maybe not be in your wheelhouse of people that you would date or know. A fantasy. But I guess somebody could be fantasizing about the guy at the gym who they saw in the morning.
Yeah.
So I guess so. I wouldn't wear. I personally, no. I don't care.
Do you think that role playing is a good way to keep things spicy in a relationship? Because I think about someone like Nick Cannon. you have a lot of variety. So maybe some vanilla is your variety, your change of pace. You know, I don't know. I just think that social media has created at least the illusion that people have so many options, and some people do. Some might have a higher turnover rate.
True.
You know, there is a nurse in deep Texas right now that's probably getting flued out by an athlete, rapper, singer, you know, someone of that ilk. But don't you think with social media, it may not be possible to necessarily get to that celebrity, but it is certainly possible to start maybe an emotional affair with someone that lives in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, down in the DMs is real. People really, you know, have been hooking up through the DMs. So you can slide in whoever's DMs, your fantasy OnlyFans girl, your fantasy, I don't know if they have an equivalent of OnlyFans for men. Are men on OnlyFans? Because I don't know.
Forrest Harrison says, if your significant other is not a freak, after a while your mind might start to wander just to get into it more. I mean, I think that is true. That is something that probably comes up for some, because you hope, Yolanda's looking at me like, does it? I think for some individuals it does, especially maybe people that are marrying for different sort of setups. If they're marrying, you know, based off of a financial thing or an aesthetic thing, or because it feels right at the time, and not really understanding what it takes to grow this partnership, you can see how an idea could become a thing very quickly.
If you're the kind of person that's, your mind works that way.
When we come forward, we're going to have a phone call. We have a caller on the line and continue this conversation, plus get into what's going on with GloRilla, because sounds a little shady, and I have a little backstory about this city that she lives in Georgia. All that and more on the other side.
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind-the-scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You have cancer. The 3 words no one wants to hear. Of the cancers that impact our community, lung cancer is the most dangerous. More people succumb to lung cancer than colon, breast, and prostate combined. Black men are 12% more likely to develop lung cancer, and cases for black women are rising. Early detection and comprehensive treatment is the best way to beat this dreaded disease. Providence is a research leader in multi-cancer early detection, offering blood tests that identify fast-spreading cancers that don't show symptoms in early stages. The Providence Los Angeles Integrated Network Cancer Program determines best protocols for each patient, interacting with specialists who share experiences, perspectives, and new findings specific to each case. With over 1,000 board-certified physicians, including top oncologists, surgeons, radiologists, and nurse specialists, Providence delivers whole-person care that understands your culture, values, preferences, and priorities. So, if you hear the words, you have cancer, all you need is faith and providence.org/cancer.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So we have a caller on the line, Eric from Carson. He wants to get into Nick Cannon and Raven-Symoné. Eric, what's on your mind tonight?
Hey, Jill and Yolanda. I got a lot to say, and I'll say it quickly. There's an old saying that goes, a friend to everyone is a friend to no one. And Nick spreads himself very thin professionally, and while he's successful at it, he's not committed to any one project, and that's the concern I have with that. Fantasizing is private, and that's something that no one can intervene with. But it could be a sign of dissatisfaction. I have been with one and fantasized about another. Both are attractive, but I wasn't getting what I needed, so I had to think about what I wanted somewhere else. And the closure is that it's human nature to want what you don't have.
I think that's fair.
There's nothing wrong with it.
I mean, I think that it is fair because, I mean, what's going on internally, unless you choose to let that out, that is for you. I mean, and it might mean something different to each individual person. To one, it might mean cheating, that you are being despicable, you know. That individual isn't attracted to me anymore. I don't stimulate them. But to another, it could just be an added layer to the situation. But I do believe that sometimes communication is, or lack thereof, in some instances, you know, people have to talk about the things that they want and be open to it. Sometimes that may change, sometimes, but, you know, I don't know. I guess you run the risk of somebody saying they're grooming them.
Well, I just think in relationships, people change. Like what you like in this year, 3 or 4 years from now, you may like something different. I mean, if the person is only doing they're just a one-trick pony, the one trick might not work no more. So if you have to fantasize about somebody else to be comfortable, but like you said, the main thing is communication. You have to say, hey, let's do this, or maybe we should go over here, or maybe we should do that.
I just think about it, you know, if you've been married for 25, 30 years, right? Especially if you got married very young, you're learning together what you enjoy, and I don't know, that might evolve.
True.
Andy?
My question is, you know, when they're fantasizing about somebody else, is this like a forced thought? Like, you know, they're going in like, oh, let me think about this person. Or is it just...
It pops up.
You know what I'm saying? Like, which one is it?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, if it's a forced thought, because that kind of sounds like what Eric was saying, then, you know, you might, again, need to have a conversation. But if it just pops up, I think it's just...
But his fantasy was personal to a comparison. Pam and Jackie. Jackie didn't do what Pam did or vice versa, so he was fantasizing. I'm thinking a fantasy is of somebody who you haven't been with, you just fantasizing about them, you wish you could, or you saw him on TV, y'all was watching porn, I don't know, you saw Megan Good.
See, I don't know. I think a fantasy can be any and all of the above. I think it could be, like you mentioned, the guy at the gym. It could be the girl that checks you in when you go to your dentist appointment. I mean, it could be close or far. I think that it is anything that is outside of the realm of your normal day-to-day.
This call is being recorded.
I don't know what that is.
You in jail, Eric?
I don't think there's anything wrong with whatever's in somebody else's brain. I mean, I just think that I don't even know how they really got on that conversation. That's interesting.
I mean, I'm sure it's a late night show, so they're gonna. Well, at least the setup of it is, so they're going to push the envelope as far as topics and do things to make us click and discuss. So, Andy? Oh, no. Okay. Eric, did you have anything else to add before we let you go?
I just want to add one last thing from what Yolanda was saying. The bottom line is that at that moment, I actually wanted to be with the other person, and I wasn't happy with the person that I was with in that moment. So the fantasy fulfilled and took care of that situation, and it was private.
Okay. This is kind of off subject, but I'm just curious. How long after this did you get out of the situation that you were unfulfilled in? How much of a gap was that? Because clearly there was overlap, but how long did you let it linger before addressing it?
I didn't address it publicly. I addressed it within myself because the other one who wasn't there was the one that I really wanted. And the one that I was with wasn't really making me feel complete. So but you got to love the one you're with. So that's what I chose to do. But both attractive.
That's interesting. You got to love the one you're with.
I mean, that's that.
The other person wasn't available?
The other person dumped me.
Oh.
Sounds like a lot of lust going on.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying. I mean, you're leading with, they were both attractive. So just an observation.
So the one that you were with was the rebound, the substitute.
Seat filler.
And you allowed them to sit in that seat until when? They decided to leave?
Exactly.
They still keeping it warm?
I
hope they're not still keeping it warm.
You didn't teach them the tricks? You got to tell them the tricks that you like.
I hope they not, you on the radio talking about it.
I was dumped twice, so I'm good.
Okay.
All right, well, work on those communication skills, Eric, because, maybe if you had spoke up sooner, you could have had a better experience or moved along more quickly to the experience you were seeking. That's what I say.
Exactly.
Thanks for calling, Eric. We appreciate it.
Take care, Eric.
All right, let's get into GloRilla because the story is kind of crazy. And I want to give a little backstory, actually, on the town that this happened to GloRilla in. So she was arrested. Well, she turned herself in Forsyth County, Georgia, right? It was 2 serious felonies: possession of a scheduled controlled substance, possession of marijuana over an ounce. She posted $22,000 bond and was released that day. The twist is authorities were responding to a burglary at her Atlanta home. Shots were reportedly fired during the break-in. GloRilla was in Indiana, in Indy, during the WNBA All-Star game. She wasn't even home. There were some relatives, friends, whomever in the home at the time. Police were more focused on the weed than the break-in. They still don't have a suspect for the break-in. So a little backstory on this town. I don't know if you recall an episode of Oprah way back in the day. I believe it might have been the late 80s, early 90s, the Daily Oprah Winfrey Show. And she interviewed residents of a town, this particular town, who had not had a black person live there in 75 years, since 1912. Let us say that their attitudes about the black population in general, you think they weren't progressive. You think that they were just a little racist. Baby, it was kind of crazy, even for the time. Now, obviously, we are 30-something years later from that moment, but are we?
No.
We know Glo is she's from Memphis, right? Yeah, she's from Memphis, Tennessee, I believe.
Oh, yeah, Sexy Red's from St. Louis.
Yeah, she's from
Memphis.
Memphis.
Right.
So her living, maybe she didn't know all of the backstory or the history or what areas in Georgia might be more racist than the other. Not sure you can outrun it, avoid it, outmove it. But I do wonder, I understand at, different times the owner of a home is responsible, but it seems seems particularly sinister in just how it is evoked, especially because she was on TV. She was on television, that she was not anywhere on the premises.
Exactly.
We don't know. Those items could have been left there by whomever broke in. They could have been the possession of someone in the home at that time or a guest. She wasn't there. So what's really good? There are all types of conversations happening on social media right now about GloRilla because a year ago, she was arrested in the same area for a DUI. So it's making her look like a really irresponsible young lady. And that may not exactly be the context of this particular story. So we'll have to see what happens with it, what evolves with it. Yolanda, thank you for tapping in this week. Tell our audience where they can find you.
Oh, I'm going to be down on Crenshaw in Manchester. No, I'm just playing. I am at The Bias Opinion on Instagram, Facebook, and I'm always around. I'm an LA girl. You might see me anywhere.
I know that's right. Listen, thank you for tapping in each and every Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. for all of your entertainment news updates. You know what it is, your front row seat to the culture. Coming up next, the voice of reason, Zoe Williams. He's going to give you all of that impactful knowledge that he does so well every night. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Glow come through, shut down, I'm bringing zap. Run up on it, you want, I'm swinging balls out. If them ain't bad as glow, then put them zap. Got my ankles on your shoulder, them toes out. Let's get it. Then got a little fatter, now these little matter. Okay, head then got a little better. I don't even think that matter. Talking like she gangsta, she don't really want no M. These couldn't walk a mile and need your bitch, she saying, okay. I ain't gonna cry no hunt, I ain't gonna cry no rape either. I got my own cake, you ain't gonna make me wait either.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Rapper and producer Jay-Z is backing a Caesars Entertainment casino bid in Times Square, pitching it at a New York Gaming Commission meeting.